Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to give you just a little bit of advice before we take our perspective quiz and go over a couple of things that I've noticed that students tend to get wrong or they struggle with when they're drawing in perspective. So your quiz is going to look something really similar to this, very, very similar to this. And your job is to identify the mistakes, because there are, in this case, there are 10 mistakes in this drawing when it comes to perspective. Okay, you need to first of all identify the line for 2 points, and then you need to fix the line for 4 points. Okay, and as you do this, there's one rule you got to keep in mind: no two lines that are incorrect are touching each other. So, for example, if you say that this line is wrong, then that means this line and this line have to be correct. Okay, which they are. Okay, so for example, this is a 2-point perspective drawing. This side looks kind of weird. There is something definitely wrong with this window. And if you notice, this is the front edge here, and the back edge are both parallel. So that is correct. They should be both parallel. But if this is in 2-point perspective, you notice that the top and the bottom should be going to the vanishing point in this direction over here. They're on this side of the building that goes this way, so we need to make sure that they are also following the same rules of using the proper vanishing point. So I can see the bottom of the window is straight across, but that's because it's right on your eye level, so that's correct. But if I come over here, then you can clearly see where the mistake is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to circle or put a little mark on that line so that I know that I think that line is wrong. And that will give me 2 points. And then I will go over here and redraw this line like that in the correct perspective. And so I just got 6 points. Okay, 4 points for getting the line correct. 2 points for identifying the line. Sometimes you know what's wrong, but you don't know how to fix it. So you at least get some points for at least being able to know that it's wrong. Okay. Another common mistake you'll see is, let's see. Okay, so this is the sidewalk that comes up to the door over here. Okay, we can see that these lines here are leading off to the right here, so they're going to the vanishing point as they should. Okay, both of those lines there go off to the vanishing point. Those are correct. Okay, now these lines are supposed to be those little cracks in the sidewalk. Those also should be going to the vanishing point. Okay. So I'm going to take my ruler. Yep, that one does. And I come over here to this one. It does not. Okay? If it's wrong, it's going to be pretty obviously wrong. If it gets within like a 1/4 inch of your vanishing point, it's fine. You're probably just off a little bit, or maybe the copy was off a little bit, or your printer was off. Okay? But you can see if I take my ruler and line it up to this one, okay, I'm a good inch and a half off from that vanishing point. Okay, so I know that one's wrong. So I'm going to mark it and then redraw one. Whoops, my ruler moved on me. Again, that's why you draw lightly. Redraw it the correct way. Okay, now that looks a little better. Okay, but I also notice these lines are also wrong. This is not going to the vanishing point like it should. Okay, so these should really be coming out quite a bit different. Okay, so I'm going to bring this out. So this should be coming out, well, I can do it 2 ways. I can either bring it out from here and redraw these out, okay, so that one's wrong, that one's wrong. I can fix that. Fix that, okay? But just because I'm adjusting these don't count as one of the mistakes. I'm just adjusting them because I got the sidewalk leading up to the door wrong, okay? So wrong, wrong, correct, correct. So now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 correct, okay? A couple other mistakes you'll see is, well, the roof. Okay, notice the roof. You have the triangle. These are sloped sides, and oftentimes they'll get some students to think this is wrong. Okay, because it doesn't go to the vanishing point. Okay, you notice It clearly does not go to a vanishing point. Okay, it shouldn't go to a vanishing point because it's sloped, it's an angle. Notice the only things that we're taking to, the only lines we're taking to vanishing points are ones that are horizontal. Okay, supposed to be flat and parallel with the ground. Okay, objects that are slanted or angled, they can be angled and not go to a vanishing point. They would follow the rules of atmospheric perspective, which we'll get into later. So this is correct. Okay, this line is correct. This one is correct. Okay, they don't have to go to a vanishing point, but notice the back should be parallel to the front. Okay, unless the slope of the roof changes, which they usually don't, this should be parallel to the front. So I'm going to take this, bring it back to this corner over here, and notice it's way off. This is angled like this when it should be angled more like this. So I'm going to fix that and mark that. That's another mistake right there. Okay. The door also looks a little bit off. If I notice the bottom is okay, but the top is not okay. It's going straight across like this, clear out, missing the vanishing point completely. So this should be going down to a vanishing point like this. It's on this side of the house, so it's going in this direction. So this one also needs to be fixed. So that's another one right there. Okay. Another part of the building, you'll notice this top part of the building here is definitely off as well. Okay, see how it looks a little bit funny? This is at such a steep angle, but believe it or not, this is correct. It's going to the vanishing point just like it should. Okay, the bottom, however, is not. So I can see this point here should be going to the vanishing point, and that's what makes that look a little bit funny there. This one is incorrect. Okay, so going back to this one, this should be going to this vanishing point like that, so that should be fixed like that. Okay. Now, how many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, we've got 2 more. Okay, and this is this window right here. You notice the back should be parallel to the front, and this one's quite a bit crooked. You can see if I hold it up to this angle right over here, you can see the distance here and here is quite a bit off. And so this is not, I was a little bit tricky on this one. But that should be parallel to the front. So I should fix this one by making that edge parallel. So when I put it in there parallel, you can see the difference, hopefully, that it is off on the angle. Okay. The last one is probably the trickiest one, and that's dealing with circles in perspective. Now you had a little activity, you had to draw a circle in perspective. And so if you notice when you're drawing a circle in perspective, it becomes an oval. Okay. If you're looking at something straight on that's round, you're going to see it as round. If you start to tilt it in perspective, it's going to be more of an oval shape. Okay. If you look at this, this is pretty round. Okay, but I'm looking at this side of the building here. It's in perspective, so it should be definitely more of an oval shape. And I've included these little guidelines here to show you the proper perspective it's supposed to be at. Okay, so to fix this one, so I'm going to mark it. That line there is wrong. So the proper way this should look is more of an oval shape. So if you can just kind of freehand that one in there, it should look something more like that to be in the proper perspective. Okay, so yours, I believe, has 12 mistakes that you have to fix. This one has 10 mistakes, so yours is going to have 2 more than this. But this is a tricky thing to do. You get as many chances as you want to be able to take this. Not all of them are the same, and so some of them are going to be a little bit different. They have different mistakes with them. So, but this hopefully helps you to develop that sensitivity to be able to see what looks right. So the chances are if something looks wrong, it's probably something wrong. So go with your gut on this one, but make sure things are going to the vanishing point, circles are in perspective, and the back edges are parallel to the front. Okay, those are the big things I want you to look for as you're drawing. Those are the most common mistakes that artists have when they're working in perspective. So good luck.